All right, buddy. So what's your name and where are you from?
I'm Jake. I'm 31. I'm from Philly. Um, I got some experience in prison. I went upstate for the first time when I was 19 years old for burglary. Um, I did a little bit of time in county before that when I was 18. I got out, went right back, and they sent me right upstate for 4 years. Um, the first thing that I remember about it was classification at Graterford, walking from reception up to that block. And when you come through those doors and you really see how big that block is, I could only think to myself, what did I get myself into?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Well,
there's about 400 people out there on the tier, and everybody's just staring at you.
yeah. Yeah. And I can only imagine what you said, 19.
Yeah,
Yeah. I went in around the same age, and it was definitely a crazy experience. But let's backtrack a bit like I do with most of my
all right.
guests, man. Obviously you went to prison and you I think you reached out in the comment section or something after I did a reaction to Graterford and SEI Phoenix, and you said you've done
Yeah,
time in those places. So here you are today, man. I'm
yep.
looking forward to hearing from you. We've done a lot of little tours and stuff, and me giving my reaction, but have not had anyone that's done time in those places. Not that I can remember, but you said it got started around 18, 19. I'm sure it started evolving, your criminal career a little bit before that. I mean, what led to this dark path?
Yeah, I mean, I got in trouble the first time when I was 13 years old. Was the first time I was arrested for vandalizing a cop car.
How'd
Um,
you do that, man?
Me and my friend were drunk and we started jumping up and down on top of it. We didn't realize that there was somebody in the car next to it, and they went in and reported us. So,
That's crazy. What are the odds of that, huh?
yeah,
Okay.
um, I got put on probation for that, and then I started skipping school and doing drugs and whatnot. So I ended up getting a DUI hit and run at the age of 16 while I was supposed to be in school. They locked me up, put me in boot camp for 6 months, came home, went right back to it, just getting in trouble. Um, I got locked up. They sent me back up to another boot camp situation. I came home. They terminated my juvenile probation. And within 90 days, I was arrested for burglary, sent to the county. I did 10 months for that, came home, did the exact same thing over again, another 90 days, and I was sitting back in the county getting ready to go upstate.
If you don't mind me asking, what were the drugs of choice, man? You said 16 was around about the time you started dabbling in that type of stuff?
Yeah. Cocaine and heroin when it was heroin.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Man, it seems like the majority of people I've had on this channel, when they start turning to drugs, including myself, it started getting deeper and darker around 15 and 16 years old, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to your first experience in county. You said it was for what was it
It
again?
was for
Burglary,
burglary.
burglary. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh you go back, you're going into county for the first time for burglary. I mean, how was that? I'm sure, county jails and stuff. Is it like a jail in Philly?
No, I done the burglary in a surrounding county of Philly.
Okay.
And so I got sent to what's called Bucks County.
Bucks County.
And I mean, honestly, it was really laid back. It was too laid back, and I think that that was the problem. It's so easy to get comfortable when you're in a soft little county jail and there's really, no action going on.
That's
So I didn't take it seriously. I thought, oh, I can keep doing this. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, that's a
And that
great
was a
point,
bad
man.
mentality to have.
Yeah, but that's a great point. A lot of people go through the same type of situations and they hit the big areas, man, where all the counties and cities are put together. They see it for what it is. That's crazy. All right, so you didn't have too many issues in there going in at 18. You're kind of familiar with kind of like the lockup structure, I guess, going through the boot camp and all that type of stuff. Didn't have no issues at all. No one came at you or anything like that.
I mean, I got myself into a couple of fights, playing cards, gambling, doing the stuff that you're told not to
Yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah.
I went to the hole for a hot urine. I couldn't even manage to keep myself clean in jail.
Oh man.
Um, you know,
So damn,
staying in,
even in the small counties, they had a little bit of contraband stuff floating around, huh?
definitely.
Damn, that's pretty crazy. All right, so well, if you don't mind me asking this as well, how'd you end up getting into the mix of that in county, man? Did you just someone roll up on you, or did you hear word of some stuff floating around and you approached them, or what? Can you remember?
All birds of a feather flock together. So,
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
ran into a couple people that I thought, I could get along with, and we ended up getting along for all the wrong reasons. So,
yeah.
and one of them just so happened to be getting something in at the time. So I was privy to whatever was coming in.
All right. And what was that experience doing something behind bars?
Um, Scary. Like it paranoia. When you're locked behind that cell and you can't get out, your brain just starts thinking, especially when it's on drugs.
God.
I was constantly, the slightest noise, I'm looking out the door, I hear the keys jingle. I was a mess.
Oh, I can only imagine. All right, man, this is starting off good. Bad but good, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It seems like you're in a better place so we can laugh at things about, like
definitely.
that now. Uh so all right, you're in there. Let's jump. It was a nice smooth ride. You did say you went to the hole. How was that first experience?
A nightmare.
Yeah.
To this day, people say that the hole gets easier, you become no. I don't agree with that. It is an absolute nightmare. I mean, you figure it out, you get through it, but especially if you get stuck back there with the wrong celly. At the time, I had got stuck back there with somebody who was just filthy, wasn't trying to get in the shower, wasn't brushing his teeth, doing the normal things that you're supposed to do. And, we had to mix it up just to get cell switched.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Did they two man so did they leave the lights on all night, or did they shut them off at night for y'all to sleep, or what?
They do shut them off at night. They
Okay.
would keep them out on the tier. It was a two-tier.
Okay, that's all right.
Yeah.
I was in a place, man. My first two-man cell hole was lights on all day and night, man. It drove me nuts. I
Yeah.
couldn't wait to get out there and get a little darkness in my life. You know what I mean? But
I've got something like that later in the story.
all right, all
And
right.
the funniest thing that got me through those 30 days in the hole was my neighbor was this guy. He was kind of shot out a little bit, and
Those are the
he was
best
going to
neighbors, man.
he was going to war with the CO down at the desk. He kept calling him up every 5 minutes. The CO said, "I'm not coming up no more," and he said, "I need Tylenol." He said, "I'll bring it up on my next round." And he had popped his wicket door, and when the CO came around, he said in the vent, he said, "Watch this, watch this." So I got on the gate, and I'm looking out the little window, and I hear the wicket slam down while the CO's out front, and I watch, and he's just squirting. You know what he's squirting
Oh
them down.
man.
That was wild, man. I laughed about that for weeks,
Yeah,
though.
yeah, that is treacherous, man. And for those of y'all
Yeah,
that don't know what that is, it's a usually they spray correct. I've told plenty of stories about it, but they
yeah,
usually spray correctional officers down with every kind of liquid that comes out the body. And
yeah,
they put it in a bottle or something, whatever they got, and let it cook up for a little bit. And it is just treacherous, man, worse than mace, but not to mention what you could catch from getting that stuff on you, anything.
right.
But all right, so jumping out of county, you get out, you get off probation, and you're pretty much wide open again, and get caught up in the mix.
Yeah, I gotten off of juvenile probation, went to the county, so I got out of
Oh,
county,
okay,
and
okay,
I'm
okay.
still on paper right now.
Oh, okay, okay. So you get out, violate.
Yeah, violate with a new case, same case that I was just in there for.
Damn, another burglary.
Yup.
Man, and ladies and gentlemen, you violate your probation and bring back. That's considered to be one of the worst things you can do on probation is to bring back the same felony charge again because they're really gonna smoke your boots this time. Penitentiary ride for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that's what happened to you.
Yeah, definitely. I went in and it was kind of a nightmare experience because they kept they called me down 2 times in the next 2 weeks, telling me that I had video court, and we all knew what that meant. It means you're getting charged again.
Yeah.
So I got charged 2 more times on top of that, and I come to find out after I get my discovery and stuff. I was blessed. I had a paid lawyer. That my cousin who I was doing these with, she was driving. I was going in the houses. She had gotten caught up on a retail theft, and to get out of that, she told for what I was doing.
Your cousin,
So
huh?
yeah,
You and your cousin still speak or what?
absolutely not.
I would have washed my damn
Absolutely
hands
not.
of her or him as well, you know? Damn, cousins is those type of family members that, you can love them, but you can wash your hands of
Yeah,
them real quick and not care two things about them.
yeah,
especially
absolutely.
especially if they're snitching on you, man. That's
Yeah.
that's just like you can't never trust a person after that, man. I guess you could say. But all right, so cousin brought you down. You're going to the penitentiary now. How long were you in county jail before they transfer you over there?
So I was in county jail for a year, um, just under a year, like 11 months and some change. I got sentenced to a 4 to 10 with 10 years of special probation, ran consecutively with it. Um, and then all my other charges got ran concurrent together. Um, so, early Monday morning, 3 a.m., come out the cell, get on the bus, head up there. I'd be lying if I said my stomach wasn't in knots the whole time. Just, the
Yeah,
unknown.
yeah. Well, let me
It's a
ask you.
different ball game.
Let me backtrack it just a second. I forgot to ask this pretty important question. How'd you feel? Were you expecting the prison ride, or when they gave you that time? I mean, was it a complete shock or what?
I actually, they were trying to give me 8 to 16 with some probation afterwards because it was just a crime that I was just in county for, and I went out and reoffended with it.
Yeah,
Thankfully, I had a good lawyer. I was blessed in that aspect, and he was able to get it down as far as 4 to 10. So, I couldn't really ask for more than that. I was pretty thrilled.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. Between
um,
instead of 8 to 16,
yeah,
that's it. I've been doing a little cartwheel as well.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. It was good news.
so you're feeling good. You're going to prison. A little nervous, of course. Most people
Yeah.
are. You've been hearing rumors in county about prison and stuff like that. Any good or bad stories about it?
Yeah, I mean, you always get the people in the county that have already been up and they're back, on a new case or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah, yeah.
whatever it may be. And, Graterford was kind of like notorious. It's a huge, well, was a huge prison, over 4,000 people in there. The blocks can hold up to 800 people at capacity.
That
And
is
you hear
huge.
it's wide open. There's so much stuff going on.
Yeah,
They said it's like its own little city. So, I was kind of just trying to get in the mindset of like, go up there, do your thing, and whatever happens, happens. I so happened to go up with two guys that I was cool with from the county. So we were all in jumpsuits getting classified together before we all had to go further on our journey. But yeah, that first day, man, when you're walking onto that block in that tier and you see all those eyes on you and you have to walk 50 cells down the tier to get your bedroll and stuff, there's just no feeling like it.
it is scary feeling, man. I ain't gonna lie. I
Yeah.
remember. I remember all the first times I went in those blocks, man. Shit, you know. Uh, I mean, greater. You said you seen SCI Phoenix, so I'm guessing you were there when they closed down Greaterford.
So yeah, I was in the whole. This is years later. I already did my 4, came home, went back 2 more times for technical violations. I think this was my second time back. I ended up in the hole. They were pretty much telling us that they were going to shut it down without saying it. So they locked the whole prison down. So I'm still at PV. I'm in blues. I'm not in my state brown. So we're locked in the middle of July. It's 110 degrees in these cells. So we're going crazy there. They're not picking up our trash, nothing. So I was standing at the door peeling an orange, and the CEO was down the bottom tier, and she's talking crazy to everybody. She definitely gassed up the report, but I was peeling the orange and I threw it out the window, and she said it hit her.
Oh
Now
man.
she said that I threw piss on her. So obviously, they're taking a ton of people to the hole because people are just going wild, throwing, flaming toilet paper rolls out the window. Everybody's pissed. So I end up going to my hearing. They're able to validate that, like, I didn't throw piss at her. I told them, like, listen, I was throwing orange peels on the floor because they weren't collecting our trash. So they gave me 30 days in the hole. Now, while I'm down in the hole, they're moving people over to Phoenix. They're busting them over, and they've got all the COs from all around the state coming down, searching people's property. They're trashing it. They're doing their like tobacco spit. They're doing it on people's family pictures. They're pouring waters in their TV and stuff.
Wow.
Like they're treating the whole prison for no reason. And so I end up getting transferred over to the hole at Phoenix. I end up my 30 ends up being like 47 because the jail is just on lockdown from them getting it set up. It wasn't even ready to open, but they had to get out of there for some reason.
Yeah.
So we're over there, and I think I was there for like 20 some days, and the light stayed on, just like you were talking about.
Oh no.
Entire time, 24 hours a day. It like there was an electrical problem. They could not turn them off.
Oh my
So
goodness.
it's this bright LED light on the ceiling, and we're just getting tortured with this thing.
Dang, man. Yeah, that sounds treacherous.
I Yeah, it was an absolute nightmare.
Yeah. Well, let's backtrack a few years because you said,
Mm,
a few years progressed before you went down that route.
yeah,
Greaterford, massive cell blocks. Have any issues in there? I'm guessing you had to have had a couple, man.
yeah. So I was on D block at Greaterford. This is
Ah,
actually
not
one
D
of my
block.
Yep, D block. And it's funny, I wasn't in 222, but I was in 224.
What? That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I bet every time I say that, you get a little personal twinge when I
I
say
do. I laugh every time.
that's crazy. We got the legendary 224 right here, y'all.
Yeah. So I have a celly who is making moves. He's getting a pack in. Well, it's literally like D block is like the wild, wild west.
Uh-huh.
The COs are not, they're not there. They're not caring what's going on. And so we got moved over there together from the PV block. So we're over there. He's making moves. And of
PV.
course,
What is that?
parole violator block.
Oh, okay. And they give you
Yeah.
blue.
When you're a parole violator, and then, you'll get switched over to Browns when
Okay.
they put you over on, a normal block.
Okay.
So we're over there, and I told him, I said, this is not the place for you to be flaunting your shit. Like, kind of keep it on the low, deal with the people that or else we're going to have issues about it. So, of course, he does the exact opposite. He's walking around, he's buying brand new shoes off everybody, he's buying, all this stuff off everybody. He's bringing back 80 bags every week and stuff. So one day we're sleeping, and this is a big no-no to begin with. Get up in the morning. We were up late that night. We were sleeping. They throw the lever, and all those doors open.
Yeah.
So the door is cracked like just this much. I hear the door open, and I hop down. I'm on the top bunk. I hop down. Boom. Like my boots are already open. So I'm pretty much like I'm trying to hop right into my boots. I'm putting them on. He's still laying in bed, and there's these three dudes in the cell with knives like this.
Oh shit. Black,
And I'm
white,
sitting there
Hispanic?
black.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there just thinking to myself, like, I was so mad. He's still laying in bed with the cover over his head, and the dude's poking him, saying, "Get up." And I'm like, "Reds, get up." So he just sits up on the edge of the bed. Dude's got a knife to his neck.
Oh my god.
and he's telling him to give it up, and he's like, "Hey, I don't got anything. I don't got anything." He's arguing with them, and they're telling me get out, and I'm like, "Bro, this is my cell. I can't just get out. You, you know, that's my cellie. I can't just leave out of here." So we ended up mixing it up. I got on the wrong end of that one. 3-on-1. It wasn't in my favor from the get. But
Oh, so y'all started scrapping?
yeah, because I stepped up to him and I was like, "Man, this is my cell," and he tried to push me back. So we just started, rumbling right there.
Damn, you didn't think
It should have been.
twice, even with him having a knife?
No, I didn't think that he was going to stab me. He was there for him. But I guess I'm lucky that he didn't. So, but eventually he ends up agreeing to giving this dude like half of whatever he gets in. And that was the end of that. I moved out of there after that. Not only could I not respect them, but I just didn't. I was literally going home in like 3 months.
Yeah, you didn't
I
want
was
no
getting out
parts
of
of
there to hit
that.
the streets again, right? So,
I mean,
um,
they jump you or something or what?
yeah. At first, it was just me and the dude, and we kept rumbling for. It feels like forever. It was probably like 15 seconds, and then
Yeah.
the other guys got involved and stuff. I definitely got the bad end of that
Were you
one.
injured
So
in any way, or was it just kind of, superficial type of stuff?
yeah, it just bruised lumps, cut across the head, nothing serious.
Okay, okay. And
But
how was the process of getting out of that cell? Did you have to tell the COs, "Hey, I need to get the hell up out of there," or what?
that's the one. Like, there's a lot of good stuff that was going on at Graterford. One of the easiest things is, you can make whatever moves you need to.
Oh, you can go
All
to
you got to
wherever?
do is pretty. Yeah, I mean, dude, it's wide open. Unless you've been there, you can't even understand, what it's like there.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely us running the facility, not them.
Mm-hmm.
They're just there. So I got out of there. I ended up going home, doing the same damn things, coming right back. And then that was the last time that I came back, though.
Oh, so you got out, and like you said, you violated, and they put you into blues again immediately, and you got
Yeah,
got into a little orange peel situation. You're in the hole, all right, and you're getting
right.
transferred to SCI Phoenix, and this is something that I've heard about Philly, man, or Pennsylvania. That if you violate your probation, like you don't go to county, you go straight back to prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. I've never seen
Um,
any state work like that.
yeah, like even if you catch a case, 9 times out of 10, like state parole agents are gonna come pick you up, even if you're in the county jail and take you back upstate. So you're gonna be back up there, and you're gonna have to go back and forth fighting your case.
Yeah, and
So it,
but
it
the prison is pretty close to the courts and all that, right?
yeah, I mean it's from Philly, it's like 45 minutes.
Yeah,
That county's courthouse is right down the street. It's all relatively close.
yeah. That probably
But
keeps the population of the counties down too.
but yeah, I mean they're overflowed so bad too. But
Yeah.
what they do now is, and this is what happened to me. My last time in, they sent me to Phoenix. I had gotten a possession case, so they locked me up, took me down to the roundhouse, um, like downtown booking. And 2 days later, they came and picked us up, took us up to Phoenix. I was at Phoenix for 2 weeks. And what they do, if you have a new case, is they'll still send you to another prison anywhere in the state. They sent me 6 hours away to SCI Forest. So I have to go up there with a court date in 2 weeks. So they drive me 6 hours up there. That's a whole day and a half experience.
Yeah.
I get there, I get settled in, and then they pull me right back down to Phoenix, to go back and forth to court. So they throw out my case and send me back up to Forest anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So then they want you, if you're, now I'm just a technical parole violator. So they want me to do a program. So they send me back down to Phoenix again to do this little program. It's crazy. But Pennsylvania has this thing called Act 122. If you're a technical violator, you get 6 months for your first tech, automatic parole date. Second one is 9 months, automatic. Third one is a year, automatic.
Yeah.
And even if you get a misconduct in there, unless it's a hot urine or a fight, your date is still good. So you can go to the hole for other stuff, and your date will still be good.
Okay. And for the people that don't know what a technical is, you know, there's two different ways you can violate, and they have these techs that are not so much. It's not a fresh charge. There ain't nothing crazy. It's just a little miss up, you know, or maybe you didn't report to the office in time, maybe a dirty urine or something like that. Little technicalities, never a fresh charge, you know. So
Yeah.
there's definitely two major differences when it comes down to violating probation. Always though, always, and never forget, you bring back something fresh, especially a felony. It's the worst thing you could get, and
Mhm.
not to mention the same charge, you know. So,
Yeah.
all right, well, I mean, did you have any issues at Forest? I've never even heard of that prison before.
So Forest is there's like two jails out west that I know of that are like gang jails. Now, I'm not in a gang,
Okay.
like at all.
Never were been, never.
Never have been, never will be. I don't knock it. It's just not my speed.
Okay.
So so they send me out there, and I'm thinking the whole time, I'm like, why are they sending me here? Like this is a gang jail, whatever. So they send
Forest.
me there, and yeah,
Okay.
it's all the way up by Erie. It's like 6 hours away from Philly, 6.5 hours. So I get up there, and it's totally different, man. Like when you're at Greaterford and Phoenix, Greaterford was more wide open. Phoenix still is, but like Forest is like locked down, like controlled movements, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a total culture shock to me. And I go in there with my guard up because I'm thinking like, they're sending me up here to this fucking gladiator school. Like, I'm only here for 12 months. What, I'm trying to go home.
Yeah.
So I'm up there, and it was pretty laid back. I seen some wild stuff up there.
Yeah. What was the lockdown
Like
status?
so Forest. Oh yeah, so clear across the DOC, it's like you're a level 5 is like restricted. You're in the hole. You're on AC lock. 4, 3, 2. There's like a 2R, a 2M. They're like the ones where like they can like work outside the jails and stuff.
Okay.
They go out on like these community details and stuff. But I mean, I think everybody like starts out as a 4 when
Okay.
you go up to get classified.
Okay.
So, but then there's different levels once you get to each prison. Like Forest had a whole gang unit. It's like I don't know the exact details, so I might misquote it, but it's like an 18 or 24-month lockdown, like step down
Yeah,
program.
I've heard that before from a couple
Yeah,
people that's been on a little step down program, especially
yeah,
for gang members in particular.
yeah.
Let me ask you this. I mean, how long were you in the cell for at
Um,
Forest?
I mean, we got out every day. We would get a yard, but like there's only day room at nighttime, which is something that I was never used to before. You can only get one 5-minute shower a day. Like that's how my block was, and you had to sign up for it. If you don't sign up and they catch you in there, like they're writing you up. Yeah, it was
Wow, so the
it was
guards had some
crazy.
control in Forest compared to
Oh
Greaterford and
yeah, and
Phoenix. Okay.
I mean it's a hillbilly jail up there compared to down here, and people that really just don't care, just looking for a paycheck.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know, definitely the culture shock there. But yeah, I mean, overall, it was fairly laid back. I seen more action at Forest in like the however many months I was there than I did all my years in jail and prison combined.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know,
So, I mean, what were some of
yeah.
those things?
So there was one day we were walking back from Chow, and like they really run it block by block. Like, one block goes in, finishes, they all have to clear out, then they'll send the next one. So this guy, I was coming in like in front of the block. There's like the caged in yard with like the two tables and stuff. Like the little block yard.
Yeah.
And this guy, I was coming through the gate, and this guy was walking in the door, and the CO was patting people down. So I'm watching it, and the CO's like, I see like the body motion, and the guy starts walking back out, and the CO's following him, and he's telling him, stop, stop, stop. And the guy turns around and he uppercuts this CO harder than it was like a Tyson hit,
Yeah.
knocks him cold, out on the ground,
Damn.
starts stomping them, beating them. He takes his radio and he like frag grenade throws it onto the roof. Takes the guard spray, starts spraying them in the face. And then
God.
other COs come running like from the chow hall, and he starts mixing it with them too.
Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, he probably threw
Never
that
seen
radio. He didn't want him calling for backup.
right,
Oh
right.
man. Wonder if that radio ever got found.
I'm sure they had to send maintenance up there to get it.
Yeah, damn, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, was there a lot of shanks or things like that running
Uh,
around in those prisons?
so yeah, I mean, you see a lot of them. I mean, it's just like any prison. Like you see a lot of the older jails. Graterford had, people are breaking down pieces of the bunk, like weird, like samurai sword things.
Yeah, yeah.
Forest had a lot of stuff, but like a lot of it was made of plastic. Like the one thing that they do up there is send that shakedown team in every day.
Mm,
They're always on block somewhere doing something.
okay.
They try, but they can only do so much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You didn't have too many issues at Forest, though, yourself personally?
No, no, I got into one fight there, and it was over the phone.
Oh yeah. How you gotta
Yeah.
break that down for us a bit, man.
So they started doing this thing where like you have a pin and you can only get 3 15-minute calls a day. So like you have to buy other people's pins if you want more phone time. So I'm doing that, and I was on the phone one day, and like I said, they do a phone list. It's so petty. But this dude came up and tried to tell me that I was using his phone time. Like he's like, "Look, I'm signed up here," and I'm like, "Man, there's phones everywhere else." He's like, "No, this is my phone." Trying to pull that card with me. "No,
Oh,
this is my phone. This
oh
is my phone."
shoot.
I'm like, "This ain't your phone, bro." It was an old head too. He was probably like not old, but probably like 49, 50, somewhere up there.
Uh-huh.
So I hung up the phone and I said, "If you want the phone, come and fight me for it." And like, I'm not a tough guy. I'm not a gangster, but like, I'm not a chump either. So I go in the cell with him, and he makes the mistake. He turned around to like close the door, and I
No.
was already in the cell. I don't know if because the bubble was right there, but whatever. That was his mistake. So as he's turning around, I'm already launching something at him.
Yeah.
So I knock him. His head hits in the back, like on the steel door, and it was enough to put him down. So I just got on top of him and I just started punching for my fucking life.
Yeah. 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 So you won that one.
Yeah, I did win that one.
How was it? How was it? The feeling after? What I mean, were you all locked in? Did you have to wait for the eerie feeling of just sitting there with the person you just beat up until they opened the door?
It was almost like we were cool afterwards, like he kind of apologized. I apologized. I was like, man, it didn't have to come to that. Like,
Yeah, that's usually
and
how a lot of situations end up, man.
yeah, it was weird because I was expecting like, us to like have to keep going or something. And I'm already gassed. I'm like, I'm not trying to keep going with this guy.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just got to get that stuff out.
Yeah.
It builds up in there.
It
But
definitely
my
does.
cellie was a block worker, and he was laying in the bed when this happened. He was sleeping when it happened. It was in the morning time. So all he did was he just hit the button, and they came over, and he's like, I want to come out to work. So he did get away with it too.
That's all right, man. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad gig.
Yeah.
One thing that they had that was really weird up there, they have an actual PC block.
Oh,
Like, it's
okay.
not the whole. It is, I think it was, I'm trying to think of E block maybe, but they would only come out. So they would do lunch and then count time for the afternoon count. That was the only time that they got yard. Like my block, my window like faced over, to those blocks. And they would come out in their little small yard. And like that was the only time that they were allowed out. They weren't allowed out around anybody. They had to like take all these programs and stuff over there. But like usually when somebody's PC, they're locked down in the hole, and they should,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
shouldn't allow it. Now they're like rewarding them. giving them their own block, like they're privileged, you know? They got single cells over there and stuff.
Yeah. And
Wild.
I've told people about that too. Now that it's changed in the places I was in, they got their own little blocks. But when I was first there, they had the hole. You get in trouble, you do your time in the hole, you go get slung right back into general population. There was no PC,
Yeah.
nothing, you know? So, well, since we're talking about PC and no good things in prison, man, I've heard stories because I've had people on, like I said in the past, that's told about particular prisons. One, the Pink Palace. I don't know if you ever heard of that one.
Dallas.
Dallas is what was called, you know. But he said there was a lot of cheat taking in some of these Pennsylvania prisons. Did you see anybody try and take advantage of anybody sexually in that way?
Um, I mean, I've seen some predators. I've seen some like, weird stuff going on. I mean, the problem is now in prison, people are so willing to give it up, and it's just like, I mean, I'm sure that it goes down. I've never been to Dallas. I know it's an old school style penitentiary, kind of like how Graterford was. I've heard stories about stuff at Graterford. The weirdest thing that I saw with like a predator thing like that was when I was doing my 4 years at SCI Benner. There was this old guy who had life. He was paying like young guys to show him their stuff through the fence for like pieces of subs.
Oh man. Oh, you
How
talking? Oh, I'm thinking
crazy!
about Subway subs, different subs. I was like, y'all starving in there, man. All right, so the other kind of subs, okay, I know. All right, so they're giving them a peep show through the fence, man.
Right?
Wow.
How crazy is that, man? But they were letting them, like, they were letting those people run the prison, man. Benner was weird.
Yeah.
Benner was a weird jail.
Better.
Very
What was
weird.
it called again? Bettered.
Benner, Benner.
Okay,
It's
Benner.
like the second newest jail up there. I went there just after they opened it. Like they shut down like two other jails that were like out west. It's right next to the Penn State campus. It's like out smack in the middle of Pennsylvania. It's
Okay.
next to old school penitentiary Rockview.
All right. All
If you
right.
ever went to that one.
So you had a couple experiences of some new places. Let
Yeah,
let's reverse it to SCI Phoenix, man. I heard that was. I mean, I'd done a little walkthrough tour on my channel. The CO
yeah,
was going through it, and that place looked like they had some massive cell blocks as well, man. How was that? Did you
yeah.
ever get to experience it, or were you just in the hole?
No, I was on a PV block there. Yeah, I was on PV blocks and I was in the hole. I never got to get over to the other side of the jail. Because they'd ship most times PV is getting shipped out. So unless you're a technical violator, then you're stuck on a parole violator block.
Yeah.
Like there's no, they won't send you over, to the other side of the jail. It is massive, man. I mean, it's as big as Graterford. It's just set up like that new style jails. They're big blocks split in half, and it's like that V shape. I don't think it's that like the blocks. I think each side only holds like 128 people. I
No,
mean,
nothing
it's a
compared to
decent size.
Graterford's 800.
Yeah, yeah. After you're there, it's like you know,
How many
not
tiers was Graterford? Like 4 tier?
Graterford's only 2 tiers high, bottom, top, and then each side there's 50 on each side on the bottom, 50 cells, 50 on each side of the top. So
Yeah.
if it were to be at capacity, each side, and then there's a big bridge in the middle with like a wall, and then same thing on the back side with a chow hall in the back.
Okay.
So your chow hall is at the end of your block,
Chow
and
hall.
you would just like walk down there. Yeah.
Let's venture into the chow realm, man. How's the food, huh?
I can only think about one thing when I think about Graterford, and it's this shit called seafood salad.
Oh God, I don't
Oh,
even want to know what that is. What is it though?
it's like chopped up like cabbage and onions with like imitation seafood meat and like liquid mayonnaise just dumped on it.
Oh man, I think we had a
Ooh,
tray kind of similar to that, man.
that was the worst.
That it does. I don't like imitation seafood of any kind. I can only imagine it in
Poor,
jail, man.
yeah.
God, that's
With,
nasty, man. What was the best food? Where was the best food served at that you've seen?
um, Forrest honestly had pretty decent
Yeah,
food
yeah.
overall. Benner wasn't bad either. It's just it's jail food. I mean, I love the chicken parm tray. Yep, you get that grilled cheese and tomato soup once
Mm,
in a while.
sounds exotic.
Get that chicken leg.
Oh, they had the little chicken legs, huh? Okay. Well, you said you never joined any gangs. Did anybody try getting you to join any kind of white group or any other kind of group?
No, there's not. I mean, it's prevalent up there. Like it's up there. But like honestly, them white guys that try and do the gang thing, like they're honestly looked at as like, I'm not saying they are a joke, but like a lot of people just like view it like that. I don't know if it's because the numbers are too small or like, a lot of them tend to be strung out, in prison already. I've seen them check in.
Yeah, that's what I've seen, man. The white guys didn't have too much power at all, man. They were getting regulated by
Yeah,
everyone and just trying to stay out the way, honestly.
yeah, yeah, you're not too far off. I mean, the fact is though, like a lot of people like if you're from the city or anywhere around the city, you're gonna know a lot of people. You're gonna run into people, and as long as you're a stand-up dude, as long as you're thorough, as long as you don't, do any crumb stuff or tell or check in, you'll be fine. Like
Well, that's
the only time people get hemmed up is when they get themselves hemmed up into stuff that they shouldn't be involved with.
yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, well, that's a good little piece there for anybody that might be taking that route later on in life, man. Just stay out the way. You might be all right, you know? I mean, did you run around with a group of people or like friends, or were
Yeah.
you kind of like seriously lone wolf?
No, 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 no. I had a group no matter where I was at. Actually, the guys that I was hanging out at Forest with, they were part of I can't say if they were stamped or not, but they were claiming the DMI thing. But like they were cool dudes. Like they were thorough. I've seen them go to war over stuff. They were all pretty stand up dudes. But other than that,
So, what prison you said you did the most time in?
I did my 4 years at Benner.
Benner.
So I probably did like three at Benner, between Graterford and Camp Hill getting classified, and then I probably did like three or three and a half at Benner.
Okay, well, let's talk about Benner for a little bit, man.
Yeah,
You go into there. What's the housing like? I mean, is it dorm, still cell block, or what?
it almost looks like Phoenix does. Like it's set up, it's that new style jail. There was A through H, and there's A side and B side, double tier. Two men to a cell, typical new style.
Okay, okay.
There was a dorm block there, but you had to be like a low level. They had like a dog program and stuff.
Oh
Like
yeah, one of those,
they
huh?
were like, yeah, dog training, and that it seemed pretty cool, but I could never get my level down far enough to even take a shot at it.
Yeah, in 3 years, you
Yeah,
probably were considered by staff and stuff like that as short time. A lot of I
yeah,
tell people all the time, a lot of those jobs, man, they won't even give them to the people that are, only got a few years. They usually give it to people who are gonna be there for a while. Waiting list too
right,
is long as hell. Uh,
yeah.
I mean, did you get into any extracurricular activities, any sports, arts, anything like that while you're in Benner?
I play handball every day.
Yeah.
In the small yard, in the big yard, like that's what I like to do when I'm out at yard. Either that or just walk the track. Uh,
Any free
we would
weights,
play
anything
football.
like that?
So they don't have any free weights there. I don't even
Wow.
know if they have any free weights left in the state of Pennsylvania. They might at like Dallas or Rockview or something, but it's all those black machines with the plates on them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking
Uh-huh.
about? They've got like five of those, you know, in all the small yards, and they put a couple out in the big yard. But like they make everything in those prisons is made at other prisons in the state. Like those weight machines are made at Fayette, SCI Fayette. You know, all the clothes get made by inmates at different jails. Like
That's wild, man.
everything.
It's a straight
Yeah.
factory system.
Yup.
All right, so you're in Benner. You're doing the majority of your time there. I mean, you said that you kept fall well, in county at least, that you did dabble around in the mix of things going on when it came to drugs and stuff like that. I mean, was there
Yeah.
a point in time where you just said, "I'm not doing it no more" while you were in lockup, or what did all that stuff happen after the fact?
All that stuff happened after the fact. I mean, I was I was dabbling pretty consistently all throughout all my prison stays. So,
Yeah.
you know, I just you're bored, man, and when you're not ready to change, you're not ready to change. But when you go in and you're doing the same thing in there, that's why I kept going out and coming right back in.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
History has a tendency to repeat itself.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, any other memorable moments from Benner that you could think of?
Um, I have a funny one.
Oh, I love
It was
funny
the
ones. Let's
Super
hear it.
Bowl. Yeah, it was the Super Bowl in 2015 or 16, and there was this guy on my block, and he was like known across the whole compound for like making good hooch. He was a young kid
Hmm.
from up in the mountains, and so he made like a whole like Foot Locker, you know, like the Foot Lockers that you buy on commissary. He made like a full one of those, and you know the whole block was just trashed. And in the morning we were all so hungover, and you know that stuff. It's just nothing but acid because it's all that orange juice in your stomach.
Ugh, yeah.
So we were all down at breakfast, and security stands like out on like the walkway outside of the you know each of the three chow halls, and like the security like lieutenant guy was standing outside, and me and this kid, the hooch guy, and a couple other people are walking out, and the security lieutenant looks at him and he says, "Sterling, you got any hooch?" And he just blew chunks, like
Oh,
it was all over this lieutenant. And then he didn't just stand there, he took off running like across the field back to the block,
where's he
like
going?
like he was going somewhere.
He probably knew he was getting hammed up. He had to get rid of the stash.
Yeah.
You know?
I was dying that day,
Yeah, that's
man.
crazy, man. I've seen a couple people puke from that stuff, drink a little too much, but not on the
Yeah,
LT. That's crazy, you know?
yeah. I'd be lying if I said that, like, and maybe like that's what kept me going back for so long. Like, I made prison fun. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, it sucked being away from family and, you know, missing out on life in the streets and stuff. But, like, you have to adapt and make it fun. I was having too much fun. Like, that, I think that that was a huge problem. You know,
yeah,
I was doing whatever I could to laugh all the time, you know, and just be busy and stuff. So,
yeah. Ain't
you
nothing
know,
wrong with that though.
comfortable.
You know, it
Yeah,
ain't nothing wrong with it, but like you said, yeah, it could definitely keep you maybe say, hey, I could do another bid. But
right.
all right, so what was the turning point, man? What said, what made you say I'm never going back? I'm changing my life around.
So first off, I max out this year, or no, wait, February 24th of 2024. So I'm on the home stretch right now, like
Oh,
5 months
okay.
away.
Okay.
I think today is like 5 months. So I'm almost there. Like I said, I violated constantly. I mean, they were only technical violations, but I just, you know, I couldn't stay out. Finally, I decided I couldn't tell you what it was. I just knew that I didn't want to go back to prison anymore. And I figured that the best way to do that was to stop with the drugs. So after the last time that I did come home from Phoenix, I did keep using, and I went into treatment Christmas Eve of 2020, and um, you know, I did treatment,
Christmas
and
Eve,
for like,
huh?
yeah,
That's
yep,
wild.
yeah. I mean, I was homeless, on the run from parole, getting high. You know, figured no better time to do it than now. So I went, and you know, I started having, I was changing my thinking, into a more positive thing. I met my current partner right around that time. I have had a couple relapses like right after that, but I just celebrated 2 years clean.
Nice.
I did the AA thing. I don't still go to meetings or anything, but like I used it for what I needed it for, and it's dramatically changed my life. I've built up. I have a great job at a drug and alcohol treatment center in New Jersey. Um, I have a partner and a stepson now. I have people that count on me. It's like it I couldn't tell you what it was. I just didn't want to do it anymore, and I had to take that next step.
Yeah, man. Some people they just get tired of things, man. It's time to,
Yeah,
just like the taste of certain foods change when you get older. It's the same concept, some of the same things get old, man. They just get old.
yeah.
Uh
I used to be so mad at my PO. She's actually got it out for me, blah blah blah. And like now, I see my PO like once every 6 months, if that. She might just call and be like, "Hey, are you good? Do you need anything?" And hang up. And that's because I changed. It was never them. I've had actual POs, but you know I guess it was just always me, making it difficult, burying myself. So
yeah.
it's incredible. I don't know, man, the change. Like I said earlier to you, I didn't see that there was any other way to do things in life. And then you see some other people who are actually doing it and like making it and making it well. And you just kind of take bits and pieces from them and apply it to your own situation.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a little something, a bit personal. You don't have to answer it,
Yeah, go
but
ahead.
I'm gonna shoot either way. Uh, you said you were homeless, right? You were
Yeah.
homeless. Did you not have that much family helping you, or were they just not trying to have you around, or how was that?
My family was so burnt out with me, man.
Oh
I had
man.
I had I had done them wrong in more ways than a few.
Yeah.
I had robbed and stolen and just used them for every bit that I could. And, they were just like, we have to keep our distance. And, today it's different. I see them a couple times a month. We go and do stuff. I'm able to have that relationship with them and stuff because I changed my life. So,
That's good, man. That's excellent to
yeah,
hear. How was being homeless? So, I always ask people that.
terrible.
Yeah. I mean, was there any particular spots that
Terrible.
you like, any kind of things to help you get in the groove of things?
I am. Did I just skip out?
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay.
Oh,
So I'm
there you go.
actually I'm actually in Kensington right now. I'm sure that you've heard of Kensington.
Oh man.
I come down here every Sunday. A good friend of mine, she owns a food pantry and stuff for, families that don't have the resources to get their own food and whatnot. So, I do a lot with that. I do a lot with giving back, doing outreach and giving out, clothes and food to them and tents and sleeping bags. I mean, you know,
And you don't
it's
feel like being around such close proximity to drugs and activity like that you're used to or seen in the past, it ain't triggering you at all to go back to it or keeping you far away?
no, it all it does is push me farther away from it. It
Yeah.
reminds me why. It's pouring rain out here right now, and I can look behind me and I see somebody with a dragging a wagon with a dirty mattress on top of it. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like that's that's what drugs has to offer.
Yeah. I've I don't know if you've heard of him, but there's this guy named King Frank.
Yeah,
Yeah, you've heard of him? Yeah, I think his channel
yeah,
used to be Faces of Kensington was the name of his channel at first, but now I believe it's Morals Over Money. I
yep,
I believe, but Yeah, man. He shows some vicious videos, man. And nowadays, the stuff that they're doing is eating people alive, man. Their skin,
Yeah.
flesh, everything. You didn't see none of that type of stuff when you were in the mix.
Um, I mean, back when I was like that stuff kind of changed, so it made that transition while I was in prison. It went from being like real drugs to the synthetic stuff that they have now.
Yeah,
So, like when I came home, people were dying a lot because of like the fentanyl and stuff, but it wasn't that stuff that eats people's skin off and
yeah,
stuff
that's
yet.
some scary
So
looking stuff, man.
yeah, I see it on a daily basis, and what's worse is I smell it when you're
Oh,
walking down the street here.
God,
And yeah, it's horrible, man.
shit,
It is a
man.
horrible,
Oh,
horrible thing.
man. But you know what, man? My hat's off to you. To being around that type of environment. Period. You know, a lot of people avoid it at any given call. You know, we'll bypass this
Yeah,
area, but you're out there helping and giving stuff out. That's an amazing thing, man. That's a great thing you're doing. Believe it or not, it's helping a lot of people, man. I think for sure you'll be rewarded in the afterlife for that.
yeah. I
But
mean, I feel like it gives me a purpose sometimes, you know?
yeah, for sure, man. And a lot of people they just need a little bit of purpose. You know.
Yeah.
You are. How long have you been out?
August 2nd, 2020. I was locked up as COVID was happening,
Yeah.
and I got out a couple months later.
Was it scary to
So
you being locked up during that time, not knowing what the hell's going on?
it was just crazy because one day we never got let out of our cells. Like they didn't
Just
pop the
out the
door,
blue.
you know, and that was it. We were locked down for that was like March, the middle of March, and they were still locked down. We were getting out for like 20 minutes a day.
Yeah.
You know,
When
you get a phone call, 10-minute phone call, 10-minute shower, and
they start bringing around
right back.
masks and stuff,
Yeah, 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 masks made by people in
inmates.
a different prison. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Those masks
but
were
yeah, we
probably
were
better than
locked
the
down.
street ones.
Yeah, I mean they were heavy duty. You couldn't even breathe with them on. They were
Oh
so
wow,
thick.
yeah, that's crazy, man. Well, you said, well, you don't have no social media. As a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, I was contacting him through, his, is your girlfriend? I'm guessing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, through his girlfriend's Instagram. So he has no social media, has nothing to promote here. He just wanted to tell his story. But before we started telling the story, you said that my channel had some kind of impact in your life, man. How did that happen? I mean, what type of videos made you look at things from that view?
I mean I came home and I was like bored. I didn't know what to do, and I was surfing YouTube and stuff, and I came across your channel. It was just interesting to me watching how somebody can be almost in an identical situation that I was to where you're at now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wife, 4 kids, beautiful house, everything. Like having a normal life.
Hmm.
And I just listened. I listened to a lot of what you said. I listened to a lot of interviews, with people who had, been through the same stuff that we have, and some of them are doing good now and stuff. And I just kind of, it really, it had. I feel like it had an impact.
Yeah. It does,
Seeing that it
man.
was possible.
Yeah, a lot of people don't think it's possible, man. But I tell people all the time, man, it's gonna be slow too at first. Sometimes it might be slow
Yeah.
for a long period of time, but you do what's right, you strive for better. It's gonna come your way, man. Sooner or later. That's at least what I've witnessed, throughout all this crazy stuff.
One of my first jobs with being out of prison and first being sober, I mean, I was unemployable. I've been locked up my whole life. So I haven't had much employment experience. So I was making $14 an hour working at a pretzel shop. Like,
Auntie
and
Annie's?
I mean, no, Philly Pretzel
Oh,
Factory. I
okay.
wish it was on
Oh,
Annie's.
so they do got them out there. And them Auntie Annie pretzels are
Yeah,
delicious.
they're so good. Like that took so much like swallowing my pride on my part. You know, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, damn, I'm like almost 30 years old soon, and I'm working for $14 an hour. But like, I had to start somewhere.
Just imagine how
And
embarrassing it was for me working at a sub shop, man. You
I
know,
remember you said that.
welcome to Firehouse. I got this stupid tennis visor on, and I got hand. It was horrible, man. But you know, you had to do it, man. You got to do it. You got to make a buck some way, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, and like that was the first step. So
yeah. I used to, speaking of Auntie Annie's, I used to trade subs with them for their pretzels. I almost got into it one day because they brought all these pretzels. I was like, bro, you didn't bring none of the white cream? You know, you can't eat them pretzels without the white dipping
right.
sauce, right? So it was just funny. I remember, man, making deals with Auntie Annie workers. But I see some wild stuff working that sub shop. Some of them young cats and
Oh yeah.
spicing it up in the back, looking crazy as hell, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know, this was a good one, man. Is there any other memorable moments that you can think of that you might want to tell, or
Something that I thought was so crazy was being locked up with Bill Cosby at Phoenix.
stop, man? You know, just knowing that he
Yeah.
was there.
Well, no, I mean we would see him every day because they
Stop
would run
playing,
like
man.
block after block. It was like PQR was PV blocks, and then there was T and another block over there, which was like a veterans block and like some sort of like workers block. And this man had on these big dark glasses like this,
Cosby.
and yeah, and he would get pushed around in a wheelchair, and he was like had like presidential security with him. He had like two guys behind, like flanking him on the sides, another one pushing him,
Inmates.
like yeah, and they were like
Wow.
militant in like the way that they moved with this guy.
Wow. Bro, this might be some insider intel nobody's heard before, man. That's crazy, man.
It is crazy, and I mean, I know, like, I don't. He was locked up for some devious,
Yeah, yeah,
stuff,
yeah, yeah.
but it's just crazy to see somebody like that in there, you know.
Bill Cosby, man, that is nuts. He had a fleet of guards. Well, them dudes were
Yeah,
probably killers too, man. Hey,
it's wild.
that is nuts. You know, that was unexpected to be completely honest. I didn't know you were locked up with him.
Yeah, he was in there. I think twice because I was in Phoenix as a PV when he was first there, and then I left and came right back, and he was still there. And it used to just crack me up seeing him, and people would like yell, quotes from the old show at him and stuff.
Yeah, that's too wild, man.
Yeah,
Man. Well, let me ask you this, man, as we close it up. Maybe I'll bring you on for part two if you want to come on and think of some more stories. But we're about an
yeah.
hour in now. The time's been flying.
Wow.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: what is the biggest piece of advice you could give to someone going into a Pennsylvania prison system?
Uh, Stay in your lane. You know, just stay in your lane. By that I mean, like you don't need the gang stuff. You don't need to be running around, getting high, whether it's smoking spice, doing whatever. The parole board is not trying to hear anything.
Yeah.
And you got to go see him if you want that minimum date and you want to get back home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's pretty much a consistent thing that I've heard from people. You know, stay in your lane, mind your business.
yeah.
Yeah. This was a great interview, man. I enjoyed your story thoroughly. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we leave? Any shout outs or people might have helped you along the way? Anything like that?
I mean, my girl helped me substantially throughout this whole journey,
Yeah.
from getting me off the streets and, backing me up every time that I fell. I mean, and my family, my family is one of a kind, we all love them. So
That's what's up, man.
and there is an organization that I do this stuff for that, I mean, I can send you a link or whatever. People just want to look at it. It's called the Sunday Love Project. That's who I do all this stuff for. My friend, she runs it, out of her own pocket and stuff. She does a lot of good for a lot of people.
Yeah,
So
yeah. That is amazing, man. And if you do have that link,
yeah,
I'll gladly pin it up there for y'all if y'all want to check it out. But I appreciate you coming on to the channel, man, and opening up a little bit about your life. Keep doing what you're doing, man, and hopefully everything slowly or fast starts to incline for you even more than what it already is.
Thank you, man. I appreciate the opportunity.
Hey, anytime, my friend, anytime.